Hey guys, here are my 3 key insights from day 2 of the All-In Summit. Day 2 of the All-In Summit was completely packed with talks with really amazing speakers. I'm just going to focus on my 3 key takeaways, but there were so many more amazing points that were made. There was Megyn Kelly, there was Peter Thiel, Sergey Brin, founder of Google, CEO of Waymo, Bari Weiss, founder of the Free Press. So many incredible talks. I basically live tweeted most of the event and what I thought were really compelling points. So if you'd like, I'll link to my Twitter below, and you can go and read through some of those tweets to get a sense of all the speakers and the points that they were making. Here are my top 3 takeaways from today. Number 1 from Vance. So it turned out to really be Vance that was coming to speak with us. He was the first speaker of the day. That's why there was Secret Service doing security at the event. I drove by this hotel in Beverly Hills in the morning. It was a giant, the entire block was taken up by black cars. The police were constantly driving back and forth. So it was him. I'm still forming my opinion on what I think of JD, and I think truly the only way to form an opinion on anyone is to listen to them in a long-form conversation. You just really can't trust secondhand information. You can't trust news articles. You just need to listen to the primary source, the person themselves, talking for an extended period of time. One point he made that really resonated with me is that a stagnant economy is fundamentally the worst thing. And there's a feeling in the US today that it's kind of a zero-sum game. Like if the Democrats win something, then the Republicans lose it, or vice versa. And that's part of the subtext of why things feel so divisive. But if you have a growing economy, like an economy that's growing 4 or 5% a year instead of just 1 or 2% a year, then you have abundance. Everyone feels like they have room to grow. And that's truly how people judge and get a sense of, are things going well for the country or not? They look at themselves relative to where they were 2 years ago or 4 years ago. Am I progressing? Am I growing? And that sense of growth is what motivates people. It feels good. And everyone wants that forward progress. The economy should not feel like this zero-sum game. It should feel like everyone can win and is winning. He made this interesting point that the US, has been innovative on the software front in the past 20 years, but really there's been very minimal innovation on, things in the real world. So think transportation, logistics, housing, and frankly, this is a problem. We need to be innovating both in atoms, in the real world, as well as bits in the digital world, software world. He believes the way to do that is to reduce regulations. Elon actually talked about that as well. And, having lived in California, which is a state with high regulations for a lot of these, transportation, housing things, I agree because minimal progress happens in California in these realms. Number 2, my second key takeaway was from Senator Krysten Sinema. I actually did not know anything about her. I certainly had never heard her speak, and I thought she was incredible. It was really fascinating to hear a little bit more of a glimpse into that world and the politics of DC. One really interesting fact she mentioned is that, for example, in Arizona, which is a highly competitive state for the Senate race, you need at least $150 million to win the race, which is so much money. I had no idea. My favorite takeaway from her was this point that she articulated so well. It's this belief that in America today, you either need to agree with someone 100% or they're your mortal enemy. There's not a lot of room for agreeing with someone, 60% of the time. And this is really not good. If you agree with someone 100%, it means that neither you nor they are thinking for yourselves. If you agree with someone 60%, it means they're probably thinking for themselves and you are as well. And that's a really good thing for a healthy, functioning democracy. And finally, number 3, my absolute favorite, Elon Musk. He actually came in person to the summit, and it was the coolest thing ever. I am obsessed with Elon Musk. I think he is incredible. I think he is a gift to the United States, to humanity. I'm so thankful that he is on the planet, and I find him a total inspiration. He talked about so many different things, and actually this conversation was streamed live to X. So if you want to watch the whole thing yourself, it is available right now on X. He talked about being on SNL, and Jason, who's one of the hosts of the All In podcast, was there with him that entire week that he was at SNL, and they told us behind the scenes stories of these skits that they proposed to SNL, but then the show actually vetoed, and they were hilarious. And I'm sure Jason was so happy because Elon said, Jason's quite funny, one of my funniest friends. But it was hilarious. I wish I could explain it, but you really just need to watch that for himself. And I just don't understand Elon Musk because he is the CEO of, a plethora of incredible companies. I have friends that work across his multiple companies. They are in meetings with him. They respect him a ton. They say he has incredible advice. He comes to meeting. They say I have friends that work across his different companies, so I hear stories from them. They have an incredible respect for Elon. They think whenever they interact with him, he is incredibly bright and sharp and incisive and able to really see through the heart of whatever issue they're dealing with or the meeting that, they're a part of with Elon. So he runs all these companies, and yet he still has time to hang out with his friends. He has time to spend a week, doing SNL and hanging out with Jason. And he talks about how, they get on this Zoom call with SNL, him, Jason, and this other friend, and they were hung over from, a weekend of drinking. And I'm just like, how do you do this? I literally don't understand how you have time to not just run all of these crazy, amazing companies, but then have friends and have time to hang out with them. It's absolutely mind-blowing. But anyways, I could go on and on about Elon all day, but instead I will leave you with my favorite takeaway of his, which I will just read because it was a really inspiring quote. It's incredibly important to have things that we find inspiring, to think that the future is going to be better than the past. We have to look forward to stuff. You need things that move your heart. It can't just be about solving one problem after another. And so with that, I will leave it here for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. And until tomorrow for the last day of the All In Summit.